One of the things to bear in mind when you're doing pricing um, is very rarely, unless you're really cheap, will the customer say, "Oh no, you're too cheap." Right. However, if you're too expensive, they'll soon tell you, right? And we don't have any statistics to prove this. Sebastian might, but we don't know what percentage of small trades businesses underprice, but it's a big number, right? And over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've kind of made it my mission to ask our clients, business owners we're working with about pricing. And yeah, some are definitely way too cheap. One today was costing out jobs pretty close to what the labour rates they were paying, right? Which is just absolutely nuts. And what I get quite excited about is when I was speaking to Sebastian on Friday. We're just going sort of through the things. There was lots of elements to. Is it Estimedes? Am I pronouncing
So,
that
so
right,
it's
Seb?
so, so it's Estimedes. So it's a play on words from estimates and Archimedes. So the Greek
Excellent,
mathematician. So it's just that play on words.
excellent. Okay. And when you started to explain a lot of what the program could do
Hmm.
and the services available, I thought, man, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more to this. So I think getting that price right through your system is going to be exactly what people are looking for tonight. So
Yeah.
without further ado, it's just gone past 6 o'clock just now. Another couple of people joining there. That was Sunny just coming in, and
Let's go.
I'll just hand over to Sebastian and let him carry on, introduce the
Very well.
business, introduce the concept, and if there's any questions, just stick them in the chat box, and I'll shout out. And if we need to sort of go back and revisit it, we can absolutely do that.
All
So
right.
I will shut up, hand over to Sebastian. It's all yours.
Oh, thank you very much. So, by all means, with regards to questions, by all means, if we're speaking about a very specific topic and you've got a direct question with regards to that, by all means, just fire it across. A lot of the general basis will kind of explain as we go along, but there's a lot of things to explain and a lot of things to show you all. So, just a quick background from myself. So, originally, I'm from a manufacturing background into sales. The company itself, Estimedes, has been running for 6 years. The owner used to own a construction company, so he's been in a position of being on site, running 30 guys, having to price his own projects in the evening, losing time with his family, and just missing out on potential projects by not being able to quote them, not being able to meet deadline dates. So we saw the gap, and there's a lot of estimating companies out there, and we do things in a lot more of a different approach. So there's a lot of competition. So some people use, for example, Build Aviator, who is part of Jewson's. There's people who even use freelancers, who are quite notoriously expensive as well. There's estimators online. They've been around for like 20 odd years. So we know that the competition is out there. So how we approach it is by having a software which no other estimating company has. So that is our definitely our 100% our unique selling point. We also have in-house estimators. So the two services, which is the most easiest way to explain it, is we have a software which is allowed for self-estimating. So if you price up your own construction projects, you can simply pay a monthly subscription and estimate your own breakdowns. It's a good saving in cost, especially if you have time. If you have a complex project, you have a tender with an architect, Excels to fill in, lots of specification to read, and you physically don't have the time, that's when we have in-house estimators. So the difference is between estimating and actually the surveying is we don't go onto site. This is where saves you cost. Is we work remotely, drawings, plans, specifications. We can also work from videos, on-site photos, anything like that that gives us more information of the project and the work that you're carrying out and what needs to be priced. So going through this, the best thing is I can show you the software to how we create our breakdowns. how we're doing our calculations, and then how we present it to you and your clients. So first of all, if I start on the estimator. So what you'll be able to see, this is our software. So you can create an account. It's free of charge to create an account. Every single account has a 60-minute free trial as well. I give tutorials and trials through the software. So there's always support. If there's people who don't know, can't remember how to do something, or can't really remember how to navigate, there's help and support for that as well. So you're never just subscribing and you're on your own. There's always support there. So it's always going to have it built as your company. So there is a section for my rates. So you can select your own hourly rates for your builders. So your plasterers, decorators, your plumbers, to be able to manage it, because labour rates, depending on where you are in the UK, is more crucial for the project than actually sometimes the material cost. All of our material cost is retail. So everything comes from Selco, Screwfix, Wix, places like that. Because when we do our estimates, we don't know the builder's discounts. They could be getting 10% on some items, they could be getting 20% on some items. So if we do black and white pricing for materials across the board, then it's a lot better. It's a lot more accurate. We're allowing for more unforeseen, especially when it comes down to provisional cost sums. So with all the rates here, I've just got a preset here. I've just saved my rates. I'm going to create an estimate from scratch. Now, as mentioned, I come from a manufacturing background. A lot of people here will know a lot more than me. I've never laid a brick in my life. I've done a bits of labour, but I've never been a builder. So a lot of people would have a lot more knowledge than myself. So if I start and create an estimate from scratch, I want to do an easy project to where I think myself as a homeowner would be able to do like a breakdown. When we're starting with £0, £0. Everything is fresh. You've got project location, the estimate details, your percentages, profits. Again, we talked about that labour costs. We'll come back to this in a second. And we can do different parts of where we're changing our PDF. Schedule of works, valuation tools, really key, really important. I can't do these at the moment until we've actually created an estimate. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to start from scratch. So every single time when we do start from scratch, we have a template. So this is our PDF. So it would be your company details, your company logos. It's from you to your client. So there's never any of our details. So it's going to be your company logo here, the client's details, but we haven't filled this in yet. We've got a tender covering letter trying to help you to win the project. We've been using it for, many years experience, use us. We've then got the breakdown, but at the moment we haven't actually costed anything. So let's get some figures in here. I'm going to run through some things quite quickly. So some of the figures might not be realistic for a lot of people out there, but just bear with me, you'll see how it works. So project location, I'm just going to put sample address, so 22 London Street, anything like that. We'll do the region as London. Postcode, it will just leave that blank. Now, client's name, I could just leave, for example, Mr. Gibson. And already what we can see is if I go into the PDF, how it's already formulated on there. So it's for Mr. Gibson, and then we've got the 22 London Street. Everything that we're doing is automatically live, updating the estimate. There's no save button. So anything you do is live. Profit, we always do that at the end once we've estimated a project. You never want to add markup during the estimating because that doesn't leave you room for the budgeting. Labours, I set the labour rates early. So at the moment, this is a system default. So if I want to bring through my rates onto here, so if I've got £40 for a site manager, £40 for a specialist, I can simply just one click button and it's then going to change all of my rates here that's set onto my account. It depends if your labour rates are the same every single project or if they vary. So that's why we allow you to be able to edit it. Now, to start that breakdown, I'm going to simply go into my calculator. This is 20 categories, chronological order on the build. So I mentioned I'm going to do like a roofing project. So I want to do some demolition, create a new roof, maybe do some second fix items and stuff like that. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a play around just so you can get an idea to see how quick and easy it is and how we populate an estimate. So when I think about a project, I'm going to want some protection. So I'm doing the roof. I want to get some site hoarding up here. So site hoarding, everything here automatically has pre-built it. So we're allowing for a timber fencing site hoarding. When it comes down to calculations, we've already got our prices. They're coming again from Selco, Screwfix, Wix, and quantities. Now, everything is 0 at the moment. We're allowing for labor and equipment as well. Manual tools, electric tools, we're allowing for your cutting discs, your drill bits. This is where a lot of people miss costs that are crucial for a building project. So if I've measured it, I've done my takeoffs of my drawing, I'm simply just adding in a meterage. So I've got a linear meterage, one click button, it's automatically pricing it for me. Blue is always materials, orange is labor cost, green is equipment, and then I've got my total price. So it's already worked out for me the quantities based on that meterage and how long it's going to take the task. So when we talk about labor rates and how we're calculating it, it's based on time, hourly time. All of the calculations in the software as well comes from builder's experience. So as mentioned, our company owner was a builder. He knows how long these tasks take. We've done a lot of other estimates as well. So we've had feedback over the years from our clients, which we've then implemented into the software. So instead of working from an actual quantity surveying book where when it comes down to a real life project, we're actually going by real life experience to try and get more accurate cost. Everything that you see can be edited and changed. So even materials, I can literally rename this as just plywood, for example. That's plywood, but plywood. You can even add your own materials. You can change prices. So everything is customizable. If I change a price, it will turn red. So then I will be able to see live in the system that it's changed. Change your quantities. You could change how many hours you think this guy is going to need. Say, for example, you don't want a decorator. You can simply just remove it. You're editing it to how you need it to be. But the basic of what I've just done is I've allowed to raise up a site hoarding to protect my site. Simple. I'm just going to move on to the next task. Maybe some scaffolding. So we can add in the scaffolding. Again, I'm just going to put in a square meterage and boom, it's working it out for me. This time, the cost isn't the material, isn't the labor, but it's the equipment. So the same parameters work. We've got the description, your materials, your labor, and your equipment, but we're actually allowing to actually hire the scaffolding. So we've predicted this at £24 per square meter for scaffolding. But again, if you have your own scaffolding, you can literally just change the price. You're still allowing for a rental charge, but maybe not as expensive because it's not going to cost you as much, but you still have an allowance. The idea is, so we're already pre-building this. It's trying to help speed up that process. So again, demolition works. I want to now to demolish the roof so I can get ready to rebuild it. So when I go into here, I'm looking through different sections. I'm looking simply just for roof demolition. So here we go. Demolitions, we're literally just looking at labor only, unless there is equipment. There's going to be no materials for your demolition. So I'm going to put in here for a roof demolition, just say it's a 100 square meter roof. Again, my labor costs. Every different description helps you to navigate through. So when we talk about demolition, this is actually allowing to do like the actual structure, the beams, but it doesn't mention about the tiles or membranes or anything like that. So that's part of a strip out. So we've got two parts of the demolition. We've done one part, which is for the main demolition, the structure. And then if I scroll down, I've got strip out sections. So I can just simply do exactly the same for my roof strip outs, enter my square meterage, and it's going to give me them costs. Say, for example, it's winter. You think, okay, this is good cost, but the access is really poor. We've got a difficulty section. So The meterage isn't going to change, but the hours will. Reason being is we want to increase our costs without changing that meterage. I can simply just increase the difficulty and my price is going to change. My hours are going to increase as well. So if I decrease it, my hours automatically going to change. This is to allow you for that like little bit more, maybe a 10% cost, 10% less. It's to get you that fine figure, because you as the builders know more than the quantity surveyors. You know how long this task is going to take. If you've been on site, you've met the homeowners, you've got more of an idea how long that task is going to take you. So the idea is just to give you that cost and then to tweak it. So we've done the demolition, we've done the strip out, and we've done the main structure demolition as well. So all I need to do is to actually just create a new roof. So I'm going to go onto my roof structure. All of these categories, as you can see, we've got the main category and then subcategories. So flat roofs, I've got my openings, insulation, sloping roofs, dormers, and even different types of roof finishes. So the way that we do it is simply, I'm just going to input that square meterage again. It's got all of my quantities. It's already figuring this out for me. I'm going to do an opening as well, because we're going to want a Velux window again, because this one is going to be supply and fit. So I'm adding 2 openings. I'm going to automatically calculate the insulation by 1 click of a button. If you want to see what we've allowed for, again, we can simply go into it. Kingspan. Now, on our system, we can only allow for a certain amount of materials. We've got a good 1,000 odd materials, but we don't have every single material in the book. Now, Kingspan is the only insulation that we use on the software. But if you wanted Celotex, for example, again, you just simply change the name. And then just change the price. The idea is working it to what you need on the project. Instead of having to start from scratch, having at least a base idea is going to speed up that process. If we come out and we have a look at different sections, I've literally just done my flat roof, created the openings and the insulation. All I need to do is a quick finish. So I can just scroll down to my finishes. I'm just going to do a GRP roofing system. Again, meterage. But it's the same process. It is simply the same process. Either editing your materials, editing your labor, your equipment, but or even your descriptions. You can simply just type and change anywhere. All it is following that set process, is going in that chronological order. Even if we think about skips, because some people might be thinking about waste, we've done demolition works, but we haven't actually allowed for any skips anywhere. The system, based on the demolitions that we've done, can automatically figure out, again, the cubic meter of waste by 1 click of a button. And based on that cubic meterage, it can automatically calculate how many skips we need. Again, you're not having to overcost, you're not having to undercost it. You've got that calculation based on that square meterage. The different types, so for example, our skips are like 10-yard skips. Some people decide to use 1 grab and a couple of skips. You can separate that. Smaller jobs, maybe like a kitchen strip out, you might just want a van. There's lots of different parts that you can do going through it. I mentioned about second fix as well. So for example, the windows and doors. We've got a supply and fit cost, and we've got fit only costs. Each project is different. You might want to do a shell only, so no second fix items. You might want to do a full supply and fit. So we can simply just change or add provisional cost sums. So the window, if we were going to add them to roof lights, I can simply just find my roof lights in the window section. I'm going to add it. It gives me the choices: UPVC, aluminiums, timber, metal. So I'm just going to choose 2 aluminium roof lights for the 2 openings that we've created. I'm going to input a width. So I'm just going to do like a neat.
Sebastian,
Sorry, apologies. Go on.
um, yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just a couple of questions coming in that's maybe relative to some of the bits you've covered
Please,
before.
please. Sorry.
So, Stephen's asking, does the strip out and does the strip out demo allow for waste removal?
So yes, perfect. So that's the bit I allowed on to a second ago. So anything that we do in demolition works, no matter what it is, or even in groundworks, would automatically be calculated in the waste clearance and the waste removal here. So
Okay,
if I add, for example, something into the ground section, so excavation of foundations, I'm going to do, for example, 50 meters of foundations. Now, I already automatically calculated the skips and the waste removal a second ago, but now I've added something else for ground removal. I'm now going to recalculate it, and then I'm going to recalculate the skips as well. So with the waste removal, that's all on that section there.
okay. Um, Sunny is asking, does this work for commercial buildings, products, and specialist installations?
Sure. So when we talk more on the commercial side of the tenders, this does work, but the software is at the moment just purely aimed with domestic more with pricings. Pricing is a little bit different. So when it comes down to, for example, skirting, domestic projects of skirting is going to be a lot more expensive than what it is for a commercial when you're buying in massive bulk. So all it is again, you could just change them prices. So if just mentioning about skirting quickly, if I go into carpentry and joinery, just quickly find my skirting boards.
Could it
So
be, Sebastian, then that for the commercial aspect of it, the kind of QS service that you guys offer is maybe more applicable?
yes, 100%. So
Yeah.
when it comes down to big commercial projects, so we've done big HMOs, embassies, we've done a renovation for Heathrow Terminal 5, a couple of Hilton hotels, and lots of different other types of projects. So commercial wise, I would say instead of it depends on time and cost for yourself. If you've got the time, then you can still work through this, no problem at all. It's just time. It's going to take a lot more time than, say, for example, your normal domestic new build, extension, renovation. The commercial side is definitely more 100% for the quantity surveying service.
Okay. I
Uh,
don't think there's any other questions. No,
nothing.
that's us. Crack on.
Okay, so I'll quickly jump back to that window section because I didn't price up that window. So
Yeah.
with the window, I entered a width, height. I'm just going to do a meter by 1 meter. And then I'm going to select how many quantities. So I wanted 2 roof lights. So what we're doing is it's working out the cost based on that meter squared. So the dimensions. So if I change the dimensions on here, my cost is going to change. So it's increasing in cost. So what we're allowing for is a provisional cost sum based on them windows. Again, if you don't know, it's just a quick calculator to be able to help you to be able to get that cost. Now we did this as a supply and fit. So the roof lights are in our material costs as well as our labor. But if we wanted to do that fit only, for example, then we can just do that in here. How many were we inputting? We're just doing 2. We're going to get our labor cost based off of that. But that's the windows. So we've done the roof. I've created the roof lights. And then say, for example, we can do some other extra costs. Now, what I haven't shown you is how to create your own tasks. And I can create something silly here. So any task you can create custom because like for bespoke tasks. So bespoke tasks where we might not have it on our software. I don't know, you might want to add a contingency, for example. So we can simply just do that. So if we do contingency, excuse my spelling. Okay, so now I've literally created my own task. I've called it contingency, allowing for any unforeseen tasks. So we might, we don't want to add any labor costs. We just want to add like a pure cost. So when we type into materials, we're not going to be able to find contingency, but any single material we can change, but we can add our own. So I'm going to create my own custom material here. So I've typed in other £0, 0 pence. I can then literally just rename this to contingency. I can then add, for example, a fixed price. So £10,000, for example, and one quantity, not 10.
A quick question here from Michael.
Yeah.
Going back on to the lighting. Let me just make sure there's no other questions before it. Does the roof light include for framing out the trusses, fitting clips to the bridles, etc.?
Sure. So with the roof lights, so touching back onto the roof section quickly, the roof structure, we allowed for your actual openings. So we allowed for cutting up your roof to allowing for that labor cost as well. So we've allowed for the openings. That's not including the roof lights. We've then come to the window section to allow for them roof lights. So with regards to the supply and fit, we're allowing for a fitting cost for installing that window. And we're allowing for the material as well as a supply and fit cost. So we've allowed twice for labor, twice for actually opening it, and then twice for setting it.
Yeah. It's worth pointing out again, Seb, obviously, that everything is tweakable and editable.
Yes, exactly. So with regards to that, I think we've covered the main section of how to add things, change things, and get our prices. So speaking about editing, so that's the next point that we can touch on. So I've got an estimate cost. I've got £57,000. Say, for example, that is my project completed. So now we're playing with that budget and profit margins. So I've got £57,000, but I think I can get discount on my materials. So ideally, I'm aiming for about 20% overall profit, but I know I'm going to save. So maybe instead of adding 20% additional on my materials, I can just put 10 in my materials. It then physically, again, live increases the cost. So labor, I want a higher labor cost though, not 10%. I actually want 30% on my labor because labor is hard to come by. Again, it's just tweaking the costs to how you need it to. And equipment, you can maybe just add 15%. So you don't have to go evenly across the board. You can literally put it in whatever section you wish to do. Again, the labor. If you want to change the labor rate, so 27,000 specialists, we could put this to £50 an hour, for example. It's going to update live. With the actual estimate, so what we've created, so what you're presenting to the client, so what I showed you earlier, which was blank, we've now actually populated it. So all of that work is now broken down onto a PDF document. So we've got all of them descriptions that you saw, the quantities that you've inputted, the material cost, the labor cost, the equipment cost, the total price. So when a homeowner is reading through this, it's all sectioned as well. Prelims, demolitions, groundworks, roof structure. They can see exactly what's going into here. We've got your final costs. Editing. So we've got on here at the moment, excluding VAT. Maybe we want to show VAT. I can simply just go back to my page, click show VAT, go back into my PDF, and then by one click of a button, I've added it. So you could do 5%. So for your commercial projects, 0%, 20%. It's up to you what you wish to do. You can show it, you can hide it. Same with profit. You can hide and show profit. So if I, for example, I've hidden all of these figures here and I want to increase it by an extra 20%, but I want to show it to the client, they don't see my hidden profit, but they will see a visible overhead profit. Some people use this for negotiating or for being transparent with their clients on how much money they're making. Every person is different. Say, for example, you didn't really want the swirls on the PDF. We can even just go for a blank pattern. We can make it look a bit more plainer, a lot more simpler, a lot more cleaner. We can remove these icons, for example. So I can go to here. I can remove category icons. I can even change the layout of the PDF. So if I go into my PDF again, it's going to look a lot different. Everything that you saw in the calculator, I can now populate it here as like a bill of quantities on an actual estimate. So if you wanted to even hand this to an architect, for example, you can literally see all of the different materials, the lengths, the widths, the quantities, the prices, even the laborers. How much labor have you allowed for? How long is it going to take them the task? You can show them this. You could show less information. Maybe you've got a retired builder who's a bit more savvy than your general homeowner. You could just show them the quantities and then the total price. You don't even need to show them the material costs, the labor costs, and the equipment costs. He would know that's how it's broken down, but you could just show them a total price.
More questions coming in,
Go for it.
Sebastian. We've got Pravin asking how do you add prelims? How to add prelims?
Yeah. So when we talk about prelims, so there's certain bits where people mention about prelims. So for example, a portable toilet as one of the prelims, we've got it as another extra cost. So I can add, for example, a temporary container. I can add a portable toilet. So if I want to add a portable toilet to this project, 10 weeks, I've got one of my prelims there, but we've got it in other extra costs. Permits, transport. If we talk about our software prelim section, what we've got is the site hoarding, site protection, the scaffolding, and method statements of risk assessments and an asbestos survey if you need to get that during the project as well. Some people ask about site management costs or supervisory costs. If you've seen going through the projects, every single task we allow for labor, we include a site manager into every single task. So instead of having to work out, the project's going to take, I don't know, 14 weeks, he's going to be on £10,000, we've actually incorporated it as rate going through the actual project itself.
Okay. What else have we got? Kevin's asking, is there a section where you input the room dimensions, width, depth and height, etc., and then it works out the quantities meter squared of plastering, etc.?
So sadly not, no. So if we talk about the plastering section, the software relies on you doing your own takeoffs. So implementing the takeoffs into the software. So when you're working through your drawings, you've done your plastering, you can do, for example, this is how some of our quantity surveys do it. You can either do it per room and do each task, but it would look messy on an estimate. You would have like 10 different sections for plastering when you could just consolidate it down to one. So when you've worked out, for example, a meterage total cost on your plastering, I don't know, 100 meters squared, then you've just got one section on that PDF. So no, you can't implement that section. You just work out your square meterage and then just implement the square meterage.
Okay. I think that's as up to date. Okay, crack on.
Yeah. So you can see just that plastering, I've just implemented it into there straight away. Instead of having, for example, 5 lines, for different rooms, you could just consolidate it into one area. The idea again is just trying to present it nicely, especially if you're showing this breakdown to your clients. You're going to sit down with them, you're going to have a cup of tea, you're going to explain it. It's good to have that understanding as well of what's happening in the project, making them feel comfortable. If we touch back onto this landing page, some parts we still haven't shown you, ballpark figures. A lot of builders know how much a project is going to cost even before they undertake it. For example, a bathroom renovation. You might not want to give them a breakdown, spend the time physically doing this breakdown, but you just want to give them a cost, but you want to still make it look presentable. So a ballpark figure, I could add, for example, £10,000 into my ballpark figure. I can switch it on in this section here. Simply as that, put in a figure, turn it on. My PDF is then going to change again. Still got that front page that we done earlier. And on this time on the covering letter, there's no breakdown. It just says the approximate cost for the project is £10,000. So instead of having to do lots and lots of breakdowns and you just want to get a quote out the door, You could do a ballpark figure. Looks nice, presentable, still with all of your company details for your client, but you're just saving that cost and that time of doing a breakdown. So that's how a ballpark figure works. We've
Sebastian, Rohit's asking, how would you hide the OHP? Clients see that and jump on it straight away.
Yeah, amazing. Good question. So as mentioned earlier, so in this profit margin section here, so if I go to my PDF and I'll show you that the overhead profit is visible. So here, overhead profit, 20%.
Yeah.
I don't want to show this. So the overhead and profit section here is 20%. I'm going to zero this. And then this section here is still profit. So I'll show you again. So £32,000 of my material. I want to up this to 40%. The figure is going to change live. But if I go back into my PDF, the project has increased in price, but I'm now not showing the profit. So there's overhead and profit, and then there's hidden profit as well into the calculations. So you could do both. You could show it or hide it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny's asking, can you convert the quote to an invoice or link it to an accounting software?
Sure, we're looking into this. So the current software that you're looking at now is currently 4 years old. We are in the middle of coding a brand new version with all new IT language. This should be released within the next 2 to 3 months. We are looking to get invoicing built in, but it is quite hard to do so. But we are looking for the invoicing side as well, because we understand that going ahead with parts like that, then yes. But this is purely at the moment just as it stands. Is just estimating currently.
Okay.
Touching on to this section as well. So we do have a tiny bit of site management in a sense of we've presented the breakdown, but a customer would want to know how long is my project going to take. So we can work that out as well. We've got the schedule of works. We've done our project and it's calculated for us. It's going to take an average about 5 weeks. If I'm not working Saturdays, I'm just doing Monday to Friday, I can just untick this. It's going to recalculate it again for me. There is a rabbit and a tortoise with a slide bar. Now, we don't know, the system doesn't know how many guys you've allowed for. You might have a big team, you might have a small team. So you can simply just adjust it yourself. Prices won't change, £80,000. I can increase the time of the duration of the project, and the price isn't going to change. It's simply just an estimation. So we can increase this and decrease this. Then you can present this to the client along with the estimate and the breakdown as well. So then your client has a rough idea of how many days, the duration from the different sections you're doing in the project. They can see that the costs and how it works out. But at least it's still more information that you could provide to them. Because the worst thing you could do is just give them something written on a piece of paper and then just say, this is how much it's going to cost. A homeowner would look at somebody who's providing them with more information and more details. That's going to help to try and secure and win a tender. If you do win the tender, and say, for example, this project is £80,000 and you're up to a stage now of, I want to get money from the client. So we've got a valuation tool on the software as well. So I can do like a 5% deposit, for example. It's automatically going to work out for me my net deposit value. You can add a retention if you wish to do so. But for this example, I'm just going to leave that blank. You can decide how often you want to ask the client for money. Every week, every 2, every month. It's only a small estimate. It's only £80,000. We'll ask them every week. We're going to ask them for money. Deposit. Say, for example, it's £1 million project, 10% deposit. It's going to be £100,000 right at the start. Some people might not have that. So you might want to split the deposit across different valuations. So this is where you could do that. But for this example, I'm just going to do 1 of 1 straight away deposit. I can create my generate my valuation list, and then it's going to have all the different valuations that I'm going to be completing. So we provide a PDF based on that breakdown we've done. It populates everything here. But currently the amount to be paid by the client is 0. So if I go over to this section, I can see all of the works that I'm allowing for in this project. If I say that have done, you could do percentages. So if I've done 100% of my site hoarding, I've done 100% of my scaffolding, but I've only done 50% of my demolition. The system is automatically calculating how much it's going to cost. So based on the information we done on the estimate, it's then dragging it through. So then it's dividing these costs. So now when you've done this section, you can then provide the valuation to the client. They can physically see it. You've done 100% of the site hoarding. Yep, I can see the areas built up. The scaffolding. Yep, I could definitely see that. They can't question it. It's all from the figures from the estimate on the valuation, and you're working through that chronological section. So having a PDF to present to your client, again, working from the estimate to then going onto site can be done. So we've got valuation tools. If I come out of the valuations, we've then got additional PDFs. Now, contracts. Some builders don't have contracts. We've got a very simple, quick and easy contract. So we're offering this as well. You can use PDF editing tools. It's the same if you wanted to convert our PDF to Excel. That can be done. There's lots of converting websites out there. It's the same with editing the PDFs. We do have materials lists as well. So based on the project that we've completed, this would be all of the materials that we need for the project. This isn't very good to give to your suppliers with the prices, but we do allow it so you can do it without prices. So if you want to go to Selco or Travis Perkins or your local supplier, you could take in this material list that you've done without the prices and say, price it up for me. You can come back and then cross compare with prices. So then you know, again, if you need to increase your prices, decrease your prices, because it's coming directly from your supplier. And that is pretty much self-explanatory for self-estimating. So projects that we've just created. So I've created this project. Now, say for example, this £80,000 project is just a single story extension, for example, 6x6 story, single story extension, and you might have another client who wants the same project, but all you need to do is just change the details according to the specification. You can literally clone it. So I can literally duplicate it. So it's now copied and pasted. I can go into my new one. I can simply just change the client's details. So Mr. Johnson, and this one is now in Bedford Street. So all we're doing now is literally just going in, changing the specification as per the difference between these two, and then just changing the costs. So you can go in, you can change the measurements. Maybe this client isn't, you're not supplying windows for this one, but it's saving that time and cost. So instead of having to re-estimate it from scratch, you can simply just clone it and then adjust it accordingly. You could do ballpark figures, exactly the same. You could just literally just go on, create estimate, type in ballpark figure, and you could do it whilst on the job. Some people even do pricing whilst on the job. So they're walking around, maybe a small bathroom, they're doing the measurements there and then, and they can even literally there and then, because you can use this on your phone, PC, tablet, anything like that. You just need a web browser. As long as you've got an internet connection, you can use the software. And then touching back, if you don't have the time to do it yourself on the software, you can literally just send it to us. So all of my details are over on the screen. So if you've got tenders, by all means, send them across. We'll always come back to you with our service charge and the completion date before we proceed. So our service charges, we charge £50 an hour. So averagely extensions are anywhere between £150 and £250. The more reading material increases the cost. The more complexity increases the cost. So if we're talking like a standard single story extension shell only, you're looking at £150. If we're talking about a double story wraparound extension, maybe like a ground floor renovation, for example, then you're looking like £250, £300. But it just depends on the amount of drawings. If we've got existing drawings and proposed drawings and no specification, we can allow, for example, floor finishes. We can allow for carpets. I'm going to do random square meterage. We can allow for supply and fit, and we'll have a provisional cost sum. So we get some clients who come through to us and says, all I've got is the drawings, just go for it, and then we can amend it after. Because simply, say, for example, we don't need the carpet, we can delete it. If we need to change the price of it, we can change the price of it. But we're still allowing a cost. Even if we don't have that information, we can assume what you're doing and price for it in future. Yeah.
Okay. A couple more questions have come in.
Sure.
Seb, we've got Ben's asking, can you save it as a PDF and attach it as a link or file? I think you've answered that one. That's okay. If you price a project, but it doesn't start for 6 months, and you want to refresh the material prices, can this be done quickly?
Sure. So with the new software coming out in the next couple of months, we're actually going to be having live pricing. You can literally save your prices for every single job moving forwards. So instead of using the system prices, say for example, you've got your own bespoke materials that you use, maybe like an electrical device or something like this you use on different projects. You can then add your own material to that, but just currently with this current software, not yet.
Okay.
So it is a feature that will be coming in the next couple of months. We want to make it more personalized for each person. Just at the moment, it's more just standard for everyone, and then you edit it. The new approach is we want you to be able to have your own preferences on the system for your future jobs. But currently, we're updating our prices every month to 2 months manually through every single item, which takes time. With the new system, it's all going to be live, straight off the website. Whatever it is on the day, it will change on the day.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty much all the questions so far.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
crack on.
So touching back onto a few other bits on the software as well. So you've seen me go into this private section. So this is part of the subscription. This is where you can create your own projects, your own estimates. It's your own library. We've got a paid section. This is for all of the ones that you send to us. So again, it's going to look exactly like this. It's going to have all of your addresses for your projects, but in the paid section. So that's the separation library between the ones you create yourself and the ones that you send to us. We do have VIP products. So when I talk about the VIP product, we have what's called bundle offers. So we get a lot of builders who send across maybe 1 project a week, maybe even 2 projects a week. It adds up in cost. If we talk about, I'm going to send you 2 extensions this week, and maybe I've got another one coming next week, you're looking at £600 plus VAT for 3 projects. We offer bundles to make it cheaper. So where you can pre-buy hours, 50 hours, 100 hours, and 150 hours. So the 50 hours is 2,500 plus the VAT. The 100 hours is 4,500 plus the VAT, and then 150 hours is 6,000 plus the VAT. But what this does is credit. It saves on your account, so it never expires. When you send us a job, that's we on the system, the quantity surveyor, the timer starts when he enters the project, looks through the drawings, and then as soon as he leaves, even if he goes to the toilet, it saves. So every single hour, every single minute, you can track. You can see when, on what day the project was being worked on, and for how long the project was being worked on. But that's what we do with regards to using us on a regular basis, because it saves cost. if you are subscribed to the software, we have a section called Clubmate. We've got a spinning wheel. The spinning wheel, if you saw on my home screen, is to do with CMC points. So every day you get a free spin, and you get the chance of winning CMC points. CMC points can be used for two things. We sell leads, so I didn't win anything this time. That's just unlucky. So we do leads and jobs, but we haven't done this since last March. Our company has we've just been more focused on the new software, so we haven't had any time to release any new. But later in the year, this is going to start evolving even more. So CMC points, we get, for example, tenders from planning portals, bark.com, or from actual investors. We then estimate the projects as we would normally, and then we allow builders to use CMC points to then be able to try and contact the client to be able to try and say, look, can I take on your tender? But instead of estimating it again, we've already done it for you. So leads and jobs. But again, later in the year, this is going to be more progressive. Rewards. So say, for example, you've accumulated every single day a lot of CMC points. You can literally collect rewards. So, for example, 3,000 CMC points is a £150 voucher. I've got 7,000 CMC points, for example, so I could actually claim a £400 voucher. So you've accumulated CMC points as part of being a subscriber, subscribing every single month. You've accumulated these points, and now you can spend these points in money off estimating. So you've got a £400 voucher. Say, for example, we've come back to you with a quote for £500 plus the VAT. You only need to pay £100 plus the VAT because you've got a voucher accumulated from CMC points. So we're always rewarding and returning something back to our subscribers. I think that is pretty much it on the software side of things. There isn't a lot more unless there's more questions for people to go through. But the simple process is the same. It's just rinse and repeat. Everything's new. Everything takes time. What we also can offer as well, we've got a promo code. So if I go on to Get Estimino, so the cost of the subscription is £59.99 a month. That includes VAT, so it's £50 plus VAT. It's simply just subscribe and unsubscribe. You can do this from your subscription plans on your account. You can simply just cancel it at any point in time and restart it. If you were looking to have a trial of the software, the promo code to get a first month half price is KRDR2, and then just enter. And then that will automatically give you £29.99 for the first month. That is once per account. So if you wanted to get subscribed today, you can just have it for a month. If see how you get on with it, try and estimate some projects at half the price. And if you don't like it, just unsubscribe. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
You're in full control, just like Netflix or any. There's no contracts, which is the best thing. There's no contracts.
That was the question I was going to ask there, Seb. No contracts. That's a breath of fresh air. So you can trial it for a month for £29. If you like it, stay. If you don't, unsubscribe. And then it's £59 a month and no contracts.
Yeah, exactly. So we understand that there's quiet points and busy points for builders, and
Yeah.
you might win a project. You're going to be on the project for the next 6 months, and you're not going to be pricing projects. So you don't want to be paying £50 a month for a software when you're not using it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and we understand that the idea of this software is jump on, get a load of quotes done, jump off. There is the scheduler works and the valuation tools. So you can only access them though with subscription. So if you are doing your valuations every single week, every single month, based on winning a tender, you do need to be subscribed to use them features.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, good timing. So let's just open up then and see if there's any other questions. Let's have a look. What's Ben come back with just now? Ben's asking, what's the lead time for getting prices back from emailing plans over to receiving the estimate? Now, I realise that may
Huh?
vary in job size, but sort of ballpark times. Good question, Ben.
Sure, amazing. So at the moment, capacity-wise, we are running on 7 quantity surveyors. We've just trained up 2 new quantity surveyors last week as well. So we're trying to increase our capacity. On the estimating services, currently we're looking at 5 working days. On a normal week, like monthly week, it's normally about 2 to 3 working days. But since January, we've just been chaotic at the moment. Everyone's trying to get all their projects and tenders in to try and get themselves projects for this year. So at the moment, we're just at a busy point. So at the moment, roughly about 5 working days. When you send us an email, we look at emails daily. I even look at emails in the evening. That's the joys of having no wife and kids, I guess. So I price up projects as well in my evenings. So we always assess by the drawings how long it's going to take us, and then we will always come back to you on an email saying it would cost, for example, £200 plus VAT, and we will complete it for you next Wednesday.
And is that quite accurate? Because I'd imagine the guys here are quite keen to know how long it's going to take, so they can go
Sure.
back to their clients and say, "Look, I'll get this estimate to you
Mhm.
2 days, 4 days, 5 days." So they can you do that with a degree of confidence?
Yeah, 100%. So we know we try to be very strict. If we've sent an email saying it's going to be ready on Wednesday, we know that you're going to communicate with your clients. So you might need a day to check it over. So you might say, I'm going to get it to you, for example, Thursday evening, Friday morning,
Yeah.
because it works both ways. So we're going to get it back to you on the day. We can't promise a time, morning, afternoon, but we'll give you a day that you can receive it. We would then ask for you to go back through, check it, make sure that we've not missed anything, or that maybe on the plans it says to do this, but you've spoken to the homeowner and now you don't want to do this. We just remove it. So amendments and tweaks. There's no extra charge for that as well. The only time we charge extra is if you send across new plans and specifications. But when you send across an email, generally within 24 hours, you will get a reply back.
Excellent. Okay, good stuff. Okay, is anybody else get any other questions before we wrap up? Any other questions? Either shout out or stick into the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's anything else coming through. Been asking them as been going along. No, I think we're all good. Kevin says ideal. Yeah,
Amazing.
it looks quite adaptable. It's like everything else. I suppose it'll take time to get used to it, but I do like the adaptability of it. And I think the best thing actually there is the kind of discount code, because I think that the best details is going to be just try it yourself. Pravin's asking for contact details. Seb, could you stop screen sharing so that your contact details become visible?
Of course
And
I
that'll be
can.
quite
Yep.
good.
Yeah,
And that'll
no
be
problem
quite
at
good
all.
for recording as well. Um, so in fact, Seb, can you stick into the chat box your email and contact number
Sure, of
so that
course I can.
anybody that's looking to contact you can do that? I'll be emailing everybody tomorrow anyway. I emailed you earlier on today, and Seb's email was actually on that, so you'll have his email anyway. But if Seb can just stick into chat box now, sort of phone number, email, that'll be the contact details. There we go.
There we go. So I've put on there. So it's office@estimedes.co.uk. Our email, our website as well as an office telephone number, which is lovely, 333 444 and then there's my personal direct number there as well.
Excellent.
So a lot of people send me WhatsApp messages, voice recordings. Sometimes you might be driving a van and out on the road. You've just had a call from a client. So by all means, you can send across WhatsApps as well. We generally ask for all attachments by email, just purely for then everything's tracked. But maybe
Yeah.
for like a couple of plans, nothing too big. Then we do accept WhatsApp. You're in the middle of nowhere. You've got 2 PDFs to send me. It's fine. It's no problem at all.
Excellent.
But yeah.
Shazad's asking, is the product price live prices from local suppliers like Selco, Juicing,
Yeah, exactly.
Travis
So
Perkins, etc.?
yeah, so as mentioned, all of our materials then currently not live, but will be within the next couple of months. At the
Okay.
moment, we're updating the prices every couple of months. But yes, all retail materials from Selco, Screwfix, Wix, Travis Perkins, places like that. So it doesn't matter where you are, north or south of the country. All it is just that mainly them labour rates, which is going to be the biggest cost.
Ben's asking, what would you say sets you apart compared to HBXL, Price of Job, and other kind of pricing softwares? What would you say stands out for you guys?
Yeah, sure. Amazing. Good question. HBXL is super complicated and quite expensive as well. I'm not too sure on their support side of things. I've never actually used HBXL myself. But from what I've been told, it's just very complicated. It's very good, just very complicated. So if you're not like IT savvy, ours is a lot more quick and user friendly.
Okay, makes sense.
Price Job, again, very good software. I can't knock that, knock the software at all. They do other bits and features, the invoicing, places like that. But we are implementing all of these things into our new version of the software. So at the moment, I will put my hands up and say Price Job software is currently better than Estimino 3.2. But within the next couple of months, we're launching Estimino 4.0 and we're going to smash the competition.
Excellent.
But the biggest thing that both of these companies don't have is in-house estimators. So
Yeah.
when you've got that flexibility of I can price this myself, or you've then gone, I don't have the time, I need to send it. Both of them, if you do private or paid estimates, are on your same account. So it doesn't matter if you do it yourself or if you're using us, it's all in one location.
Excellent. Good answer. Okay. Any other questions, or will we wrap up at that? All good. Excellent. Okay. So everybody's got your contact details there,
Mhm.
Seb, which is great. And I would encourage MD to either reach out or sign up, use that discount code and give it a try.
Yeah, so
Okay, Seb,
I'll also put in the discount code. So
here it comes, discount code.
mhm. And the promo code is in there as well. So as mentioned, that is just once per account, and that's just for the first month, half price.
Okay. So for benefit of people watching this on the recording, the
Mhm.
promo code is KRDR2, Kilo Romeo, Delta Romeo, number 2.
Mhm.
KRDR2. Excellent. Okay, Seb,
Amazing.
that's been
Well,
absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
thank you all for
And
yours as well. So I'm
I'm
sorry
sure
if
some of
I've
the guys.
chatted off
Uh,
your ears a few times, or you
no,
know.
no, that's absolutely fine. That's exactly what was tonight was all about. Showing the system, answering the questions, and that's been great. So thank you again, and have an absolutely fantastic night.
Thank you very much, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye bye.
Bye.